Alright, today Spades here bringing you guys another Wargame Red Dragon gameplay video. You're going to be seeing some Polish mechanized deck action on paddy fields. It's a 3v3 with a bunch of randy dudes. This is my Polish mech deck. It's named Broland. In case you guys don't know, mech deck just has a lot of mechanized vehicles, which just pretty much means tracked vehicles for the most part. Usually heavier tanks don't make it in, but in a Polish one, the M2 Wilk does actually make it in, which is nice. So you don't get the Twardies and you don't get certain other things, so it's just interesting. My previous video, I mentioned I was going to be uploading this one right after. It's the Anzac mech deck, and it's the same map with random dudes, and I do pretty well in it with more losses than what I had in this one, and I just wanted to point out that watching your own replays can benefit you greatly, whether you're good or not, or new or old. If you want to get better, you should watch replays after you lose or after you win, just to see what you could do better. Watching and even narrating over that gameplay, I realized there's a lot I could have done better. And playing this game that you're about to see just pretty soon after I had looked at that replay, I changed my gameplay. It's the same area too, which is nice. It's nice to see what changes I made. But anyway, there's a lot of vehicular and tank support on the push to the city, and I always have, or I have AA up on the front like I didn't have in the previous game very well anyway. So anyway, I'm going to stop blabbing. Let's get to that action. I am playing my Polish mechanized deck, and I'm going to, and I just want to say I do successfully get this in my grasp a lot more effectively than my previous attempt with Anzac. Even though with Anzac I was able to pull it off, it just took the entirety of the game. So I'm going to speed it up, get it out of deployment phase here. Just for newcomers, beacons are nice to it's annoying whenever a team or a person in a team does not properly use them. And if you don't know how to use them, there's a little box over here that gives you some options of attack, defend, help, or you can make your custom one and type whatever you want in it. Anyway, so game is starting. I'm just going to pause it real quick to look at my overview here of the units I'm starting with. I have one fob, command vehicle, holding back. I don't start with a secondary command vehicle just so I can have more troops on the battlefield initially to get that early ground. 100 points can go a long way. Anyway, so I have two pairs of two Mi-2Ts, which have Commandozy in them. The workhorse of the Polish infantry. The M2 Wilk stands alone with a, let's see, there's one set of cracks with Saperzy in them, which have napalm rocket launchers that can obliterate infantry. Sopel, which is just Groms and a decent 23 millimeter gun on it. A new tracked with four very accurate missiles. Very expensive, 80 points. Then I have 2 stars with recon. I can't remember. Zwadowski is what's in them, I believe. Promets, which are really cool transports. They have that same 23 millimeter gun on them. a lot less accurate. But pretty nice to have just the spray, the constant spray. But there's Groms inside of them. Um, and then the BWP-2Ds. These transports have 10-point Z-Mech infantry, which are really shit, but they'll get the job done in force. So anyway, that's my layout here. I'm just going to kind of do the same thing I did with my Anzac mech deck. I'm going to get some infantry in here and attack from this angle, and then get some infantry over here and attack from this angle, just to keep them off balanced. And if you're having problems trying to do it at the same time, you can always alternate and get them off balance. That way they can't properly react. So he sent some helicopters here, some recon, high Bayong, not the 90s, and some stingers just for this little city block here. But I'm just gonna ignore it. That's points here that he doesn't have here, defending his main city. Empty transports are attacking me for whatever reason. Maybe he's just trying to see what I have, but either way, it's not a good idea, I don't think. So Commandozi are landed on focusing on all these helicopters. I unloaded the Promets to kill those helicopters more effectively with the Groms, and then I put them back in. Also, if you guys didn't know that, I'm sure a lot of you do, you can always put your infantry back in the vehicles to get them wherever, to reposition if you need. So I'm going to move these Promets over here and get some AA over here just in case they start bringing in helicopters or planes on my Commandozi. Then I have pretty sufficient AA on this side. So without see moving up through the open, that's what I like to do with recon infantry is just move them up through the open. It's not a big of a deal if they die. They're only 15 points. I mean, obviously you can get some more expensive ones, and it'd be more hurtful, I guess, to lose them. But that recon is everything in this game. If you go in blind, you're gonna have some failures, or at least a good percentage of the time, and just blow right through their defenses just by pure luck. But that rarely happens. Recon is the most important thing in this game. So High Bayong 90s are in the forest here. Realistically, they could probably wipe out all 40 of these Z-Mech. I don't know they're there though, so. So I've got my recon infantry in a pretty good spot here. I think I continue moving up, trying to get in these hedges right here, because I did see this infantry moving up. And if you can get sight on the infantry, usually I like to turn the guns off on my recon if they're getting really close to the front. That way they won't attack what they see, and they can just keep line of sight, and you can use your vehicles or tanks to pound the city from afar, and that works really well. So I am playing against South Korea, in case you didn't realize what units these were from. Middle, again, I don't really pay attention to it. They're doing their own thing. These Mistral guys are really good. Mistrals are probably the best man pads, arguably, anyway. Um, that range on them is really nice. He has Stingers and Mistrals, oddly enough. I think this guy was playing a South Korean marine deck, so he has a lot of infantry and a lot of planes. And he knows about firing on position. It's not very effective with infantry, but he was trying to fire on position. He thought I moved my Swadowski up a little bit more than I did, but he's full on coming after me because he wants that recon out of there. So this, you can tell this guy, he has sufficient knowledge of the game. He's got his own recon right here. Those helicopters just got slaughtered by my Commandozi. He sees my cracks moving up, and he backs off his high Bayong, especially after he saw 60 Commandozi there, I'm sure. I spot this really quickly, and I was like, okay, I need to move back. I did it just in the nick of time to prevent any losses, serious losses, or actually any losses, I guess. But I'm going to keep pulling them back because this thing, this Vulcan, will just mow into my. So Promets and Cracks are going to be providing a lot of good support, just a lot of volume of fire into the infantry. My Cracks are almost in range of this KM 167, but I lose sight. Again, recon is everything. Haven't really pushed up here any to see what they have. My recon is not great, so I don't push. So he's bringing up a M48. It's a pretty weak tank. It has to be. He's using a marine deck. 13 AP power, 5 armor. It's nothing. Uh, and knowing that he has a marine deck, I'm going to use my M2 Wilkes to get that extra muscle that he just can't compete with. Or he could, just in different ways. He can't do a straight armor versus armor battle with me. I'm trying to move these BWPs into position to use their Conquers on this tank. But I lose sight because my recon has died over here, so that's the next thing I really need to start bringing up is recon, and I'm sure I do it here pretty soon. So right now it's gonna kind of slow because I know I can't push up with these here. They'll mow down the infantry. I have my Promets and BWPs on standby. M2 Wilk moving up. Sopel moving up. Grom's moving up. Got supplies coming up for my Sopel, I'm sure. Got recon over here, just making sure they don't do anything sneaky down here. One thing, you gotta always watch your ass. Always watch your sides. Looks like he's got a 5-man squad of recon moving up. While I'm playing, I kind of always do the math in my head. You know what pays for themselves. Like these two groups of Z-Mech, they're 10 points each, so 20 points. They just kill a recon squad, it's 15 points. They've already almost paid themselves off, and I just try to at least pay off the debt, I guess. So armor right here would be nice, just to kind of take these out. This crack could probably do it, but I don't have recon to see him. He's got another tank coming up. So here's my recon finally coming up. This is going to be the catalyst that drives me forward. As soon as I get line of sight and know what I'm dealing with, I will be able to effectively push up and ruin this guy's day, hopefully. I do kind of. So it looks like that guy got his Haibyong out of this forest here. Apparently Mech scared him off for whatever reason. He's got both Haibyong and Haibyong 90. I'm probably butchering that, but these guys are really good. The 90s. They have the nice 110 millimeter rocket launcher you see there, 70% accuracy and 24 AP. That's how he'd combat my heavy ass armor. Either that or ATGM squad. So that KM right there was a flame truck, and he would have wreaked havoc on my Commandozi and probably would have thwarted my attempt here, or at least delayed it. You'll see he's bringing out a lot of these, and it's kind of difficult to deal with. I don't have recon at this point in time, I don't think. And I can't see these, that's why my Wilk is not firing. I'm using these as kind of cannon fodder to get that line of sight. They do have optics, just really bad ones. Do get ahead. I think that BWP paid for itself when it killed that flame truck, and then with it I was able to kill that tank, which I think is 40 points. So these are already paid for. The Wilk obviously is not paid for since it's 125 points. Alright, so Haibyong getting assaulted now. I got that BWP and M2 Wilk. I'm going to get these Promise in position. That KM is giving me problems. It's gone now, though. Groms took out the recon chopper. So flames coming on my Commandozi. So I lost about... before I even made it into the city. I mean, that's what you gotta expect. You gotta expect losses when you're doing this. It takes men's lives to take a city. All you're trying to do is minimize. So they're getting mowed down now. They pulled him out of the buildings to try to kill the Commandozi, and he paid dearly for it. These last Commandozi are gonna maybe kill that KM. Another thing you can do with TO-55s or anything with flames is make a wall of fire and just prevent advances. He could have been doing that more aggressively and got a nice cover right here. But that last Commandozi does finish it off. And I'm trying to position these guys in a position to help out my Commandozi. It's just difficult to get that line of sight. You got to think like this. I mean, they can't see right through those buildings. They can't shoot through the buildings either. So this guy starts using a lot of these 127mm rocket planes. He loses a lot of them though, because I do have pretty decent AA up here. That really kind of hurt my my foothold there, that rocket plane did. I think yeah, I'm calling out more Commandozi. So there's his recon, they're gone. Testicle is coming out to help. He loses a Hot 2 chopper that would have hurt my M2 Wilk. He's got more of these rocket planes coming out. He kills a Grom team, my only AA on this side besides his Promise, which are barely considered AA. But it actually did get some criticals there on that guy. This guy positioned his Haibyong a little bit poorly there. He put him on the outside where my tanks and vehicles could help out. He's got 30 more right there, so I've shifted my Sopel from over here to come over here and help out, because he is using these sabers effectively. He just killed all of the Commandozi that were in there, and he's about to wrap up that recon group I have. I got 60 more Commandozi on the way though. So here we have a Frenchy anti-tank plane. I square up my T-72's front armor with it in the hopes that it'll absorb the shot, and it does. Thank God. And when you have something damaged like that, it's always best to pull it and get supplies out to it and get it repaired before you keep pushing it. If you keep pushing it, you're going to lose it. And I have another Wilk to come up and replace it. Just cycle them out. Logistics are probably around the second most important, I guess, gameplay in general. So that Sopel takes out one of those sabers. He's coming out with another one. So 30 Commandosi make it in the city. They're going to finish off those last 3. That saber kills my Sopel. My Newham whiffs, unfortunately. I'm shifting this over because he's bringing these planes in fast. Fast, fast. Commandosi kill that flame truck. They get a little toasty in the exchange, however. So now I'm just going to start attacking from this side. Hopefully prod hard enough to make him shift some of his infantry right here, and then move my infantry in here and just pinch him. I don't think it plays out as smoothly as that, but that was the plan. Let's just look over here real quick and see how things are going. Strong foothold in Echo, and looks like he's going for a foothold in Lima. And we have control of Hotel. I think this guy was playing a North Korean armored, which was odd. He has Chomahos and T-72s instead of T-90. Anyway. So much Haibyong. I'm probably butchering that, but they are 15-man squads, just like Commandosi. So it was a pretty fair fight, I think, with these two infantries. Commandosi excel at close range combat, however. More fire. Usually Red 4 is the one with the fire. The only thing I don't like about Commandosi is, well, they used to be 40 points, which was awful. Their accuracy's not great on their primary. The fire rate is exceptional, however. And but what I really don't like is the RPG. It's only 15 AP power. RPGs to kill any type of armors, or heavier armor. But I don't have any of the 90 variants of Z-Mech are pretty awful too. But surprisingly, I get them to work decent. You'll see here these 10-point infantry have 1 less AP on their RPG than Special Forces Commandosi that costs 35 points. It's just a tad ridiculous. So anyway, I'm pushing here now. Shit's getting real. He's still flaming over here on this right side. Just lost 20 points of Z-Mech, but it was kind of worth it since I've got this line of sight. UDT seals I think are 30, Haibyong 90 or 30 as well. And I'm about to get 60 points out of that. He's not moving it away. I guess he thinks he can hold his ground, but can't. He's 30mm, that's what I prefer over the, there are transports that have some kind of gun on it. It's like 90mm or something or less. I prefer the autocannons, especially for assaulting cities like that. You'll see I've almost run them out just because of how much firepower they're putting out. And they can even take out, you know, vehicles like that. Peace Pheasant 2 coming out with Mavericks. He's targeting my BWPs because they're giving him such a problem. Wasn't worth it for him. He lost it. I bought 2 more Nuas for extra AA, 2 more Sopals. AA is covered here. He's going to lose that Saber too. I think those are 65 points. Don't quote me on that. But it was not worth it for him to call it out and fail so hard. So KM900s, I bet they have Haibeyong in them. Or UDT Seals, I guess. More flames on my Commandozi. So he killed about half my Z-Mech force over here and wounded the other half. So I'm going to have to get some supplies up here to resupply my front. Commandozi, however, are going to hold out, I'm sure. I got more coming. Good thing about these MI2s is they're really cheap transports and they get to the front really quickly. Especially on this map, you know, on different maps you might have different transports for different scenarios, but this is, the MI2T is perfectly suited for this distance and for quickness. Conquerors here still being spotted. You'll see again, if you guys don't know, if you're in a dense forest or hedge or whatever, you'll be blinking like this to indicate you are properly hidden. Once you engage, like my T-72 did here, he's not blinking anymore. It means he's spotted. And if you're not engaging anything and you're just sitting there and you're not blinking yet, that means Recon's got its eyes on you. You need to take that into consideration. If this were a more soft target or a higher price target, you'd want to move it. That way it doesn't get targeted by artillery or anything else. Another Saber comes out, kills my Promet transport. You'll see all that AA brings it down. And AR 65 points. So he just lost 170 points there. 120 point plane, I think, is going to go down. Oh, yeah. It looks like he killed 15 point Zwadowski recon infantry. And a Promet, so. What is that? 30 points, I guess. 30 points for 290 and 3 planes. So I got some more BWPs with more Z-Mech unloaded to fire support. Whittling away the infantry before my infantry even gets in the fight. Super Intard came in probably at an awkward angle and evac'd at an even more awkward angle and paid for it. And it almost crashed on my ship. And it's all about those angles when doing this, because these buildings here are in the way, so you got to kind of move your tanks around. I usually click on them and in basic orders tab here, you just see attack. If you do an attack move, for the most part, they'll stop and fire as soon as they get a line of sight. Some of the faster vehicles won't because they're moving too fast, and they'll try to stop, but they'll keep rolling and lose that line of sight. So you got to kind of fiddle with them sometimes. It's really annoying, but. Haibeyong getting mowed down. I'm gonna have to bring up some more supplies just to keep these guys refueled or refitted, I guess. Need ammo. So my shitty Z-Mech is making it in. I forgot I bought this 203 artillery. Slow firing, but packs a huge punch. I'm just going to kind of soften that infantry up, get it panicked for my Z-Mech, because they need any chance or any help they can get, just because they're so shitty infantry. We got more Z-Mech back here ready to go. I don't know why I'm not moving it up. So he's got the infantry transports. I'm not sure if this is just desperation or he's just trying to keep it on the peripheral for that support, but he's just doing it wrong. It's the wrong transports for the job. 50 cal requires too close proximity to be able to be useful, at least against Commandos and their 875 meter RPGs. You'll see though he did kill some infantry, and he worried and shaken them. So I got 40 more Z-Mech coming in from this angle. I'm going to start moving my Commandosi this way. And I'm going to take this city by storm. BWP's out of ammo. Going to replace them with these BWPs. These BWPs are out as well. That one's out. He even used a couple Conquerors. I got one back here. I probably just forgot, overlooked it. Another thing, whenever you're not needing to be using these NUAs, I always keep them off. You can even hotkey them by pressing Control and then finding a number that you'd like to hotkey them at. I usually just group them all up on the same one, on one, and then you can just press 1, and then in basic order, or company orders, turn on weapons, and you can also turn off weapons with the same button. And that'll keep you from losing it to seed. So you just always keep it off, and then you see a plane coming out. You first decide whether or not it's seed or not. If it's seed, you keep them off. And seed is a type of aircraft that targets radar-based AA, and only radar-based AA. But if it's not seed, you turn them suckers on, and all 3 or however many you have of them just completely obliterate. Obviously, it's easier said than done. You always forget. I always forget from time to time. And every time, especially in a game where you know there's a lot of artillery on the other side, every time they fire, you move them. And you move them far enough away to where a 203 shell is not going to upset them or shake them up. You'll notice, well, you probably didn't notice, but if you look back, you'll notice I'm shifting constantly my NUAs every time they fire. Well, not every time, but for the most part, I move them pretty regularly. I know, after 30 minutes of this game that this guy does not have artillery, and he's not actively trying to arty anything of mine, so you can afford to be a little bit lazy in situations like that, but don't make a habit of it, or you're going to lose 80 points here, 80 points here, 80 points here. There's 90 points grouped up, and I usually always keep them in groups of 1 for these more expensive ones, for sure. Because if you do forget and you have 280 point, 160 points in one spot, two 203 shells come down, and you're out 160 points. So I've got the city. That's why I'm kind of talking about all that gameplay shenanigans. So I'm just kind of moving up these MI8 choppers for fast resupply. I got my troops in here. They're kind of beat up, battered. You want to get supplies up to them as fast as you can, so there's not a counterattack that just pushes you right back out. So these Panthers have snibs on them. dreaded 68mm that come on Lynx H7s, which I love. The transports, they're just really accurate and deadly for whatever fucking reason. Like MI8s for Red 4 just have 57mm, and they're just nowhere near as good as the SNIB. Unfortunately, I lose some infantry there to the SNIB. So doing well though, just solidifying my hold. I'm going to try to hunt down that command infantry eventually. Actually, I don't think I do ever kill the command infantry. So here I know that my BWR 1D and BWP 2Ds are being spotted, but I'm trying to position this to where I can see that recon. I think this recon infantry probably spotted over this, but I do find it. He's trying to move it away, and oh, game. So you'll see 2,600 kills and 700-ish losses, and I was playing aggressively. My previous game, I think I had like 3,000 some kills, a little more kills, but also I had I think 1,500-ish losses if I'm remembering correctly. Don't quote me on any of that, but I know I had a lot more losses, near twice as many losses, and I think that's attributed to me just watching a replay and bettering myself. So just watch replays if you want to get better, is what I'm getting at. And I hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay. If you want to see any decks, I'm getting bored with the ones I have. That's why I've been making so many mech decks. I don't know. I've made a lot of mech decks so far. Maybe I should branch out into something else. I don't know. I guess leave a comment if you'd like to see anything in particular. If not, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Hope you guys enjoyed.